Now, every year they have a pay-per-view called Hell in a Cell. Now, basically, I'm not gonna say that every Hell in a Cell match since this pay-per-view came out was bad, but there's been no good Hell in a Cell matches at this pay-per-view. There was WrestleMania Hell in a Cell matches, sure, but really, the way I see it is, say there's a rivalry going on between somebody. The rivalry only lasts about 2 months. Then there's a pay-per-view called Hell in a Cell. So regardless, if you're the champion, you're gonna be in a Hell in a Cell match. You know, like this should be for like, people who really hate each other, have a built-up hatred, like people like Shawn Michaels and Triple H. Cactus Jack and Triple H was good because it was a career-threatening match, I guess. I guess it didn't make too much sense there, but I mean, well, talking about McFoley, that was his brutality and what kind of matches he would do. But now, say there's a rivalry between Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton. They're going to be in a Hell in a Cell match the next pay-per-view after Battleground, I think. They could have a CM Punk Ryback rivalry again. That's probably what's going on. They could be in another Hell in a Cell match. I'm just saying, it should be for a long rivalry type of thing. But instead of a pay-per-view that guarantees you'll be in this match. Even if you're not prepared, I know wrestling's fake, but even if you're not prepared, it does sound like, bullshit. Kind of like when they had CM Punk versus Ryback actually about a year ago. And he had a choice of facing John Cena or facing Ryback. Although John Cena was injured, whatever. But Ryback was in a Hell in a Cell match with CM Punk, even though they had no rivalry between each other. And the funny thing was, they couldn't even decide how they wanted to end it because they didn't want CM Punk to lose his title, but they didn't want Ryback to end his streak. So they had the referee low blow him and CM Punk get the fast count. Writers kind of just make up things. But anyways, all I'm saying is this match here should be people who, have wrestled a lot, know each other, and want to just, end their rivalry. But they're gonna have a Hell in a Cell match regardless. Sometimes they had three. I think they had like two or three Hell in a Cell matches in one. I think that was like it was like Randy Orton versus Sheamus was one. Then they had DX versus Legacy, and then I think another Hell in a Cell match. I'm not really sure. Plus, these matches aren't really brutal considering it's PG. I think they should just get rid of this pay-per-view and just make it a random match for a good rivalry.